Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We are once again in the midst of a major cheating problem in Call of Duty. Whether you're playing Warzone or Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer, cheating in Call of Duty right now is, again, seemingly out of control. And it's not the first time I've made that statement. Unfortunately, it's not even the first time this year that I've made that statement, but it seems there are an just absurd amount of cheating issues going on in game. Why that is, who knows? Is Ricochet still being worked on for Black Ops 6, so it's not getting much attention now? Did it receive anything major with Season 6? Like usually seasonal updates will at least stop cheating for a little bit and then it sort of ramps back up, but really, the past couple of weeks since the Black Ops 6 beta ended, there's been a significant, it seems, uptick in cheating, and it doesn't look to be getting any better. A lot of people have been saying cheating right now is worse than ever, and it's an interesting statement because cheating as it stands right now certainly is in a different spot than what it was, say back in Verdansk, where I think a lot of other people might say, no, that was the worst cheating because that was the time where we had no anti-cheat whatsoever. That's where we had players blatantly aimbotting, looking into the sky, frying players as they were diving down, getting 70 kills in a game, and it wouldn't affect them whatsoever. They drop 70 kills, 100% headshot accuracy, and then continue on into the next game and the next and the next. You don't see that as much now as you see slightly, I would say, more subtle cheating, it seems like, for the most part, where it's someone using wall hacks or like a center mass aimbot, trying to hide it a little bit more. I don't know what makes players think that if they just hide it a little bit more, they won't eventually get caught. Like, does that make them feel better about themselves? You're cheating in a video game at the end of the day. You might need to have some reflection and think about what you're doing. It's, a serious loser move for sure, but it's, there's still a blatant enough cheating, but it's not as wild necessarily in some cases as it was before, but it undoubtedly is still a major plague on the game. And I've said this a bunch before. Doesn't matter how fun Warzone may or may not be. Doesn't matter how good multiplayer may or may not be. How good the servers eventually may or may not be, or the content, or this, that, or whatever else. If you can't play the game normally and enjoy it normally without a constant interruption of cheating, that hurts the entire game. And for whatever reason, Call of Duty, outside of obviously Ricochet's creation and I guess slight updates over the course of it being an active thing, we don't see much proactive movement in this area, right? It's sort of a rinse and repeat broken record cycle, but I'm going to happily continue to be a broken record on this topic until something drastic is actually done. It's, there's a ban wave. Hey, we banned 60,000 people. And then it's like, okay, COD actually seems pretty solid this week. Haven't really been running into many cheaters. And then the next week happens and it's like, oh, a little bit more blatant, few more here and there. And the week after that, oh, even more. And then, hey, we banned 60,000 cheaters and it's good for a week, so on and so forth. The thing right now that is really tough with this cheating issue is that cheaters absolutely are out of control, but there's also, I think, more uncertainty than ever with the player base as to, is this person cheating or is this person not cheating? And this is accredited to a bunch of things. One, the fact that Ricochet is not a good anti-cheat. The fact that we still have this many cheaters constantly on the game after every update, after every ban wave, it is still this big of an issue so long after the implementation of Ricochet. That in and of itself causes a lot of uncertainty and a lot of doubt in the player base, right? You also have a lot of other COD mechanics that I think, accidentally feed into this. The terrible servers where hit reg feels really inconsistent, where it feels like you shot a guy 4 times and then they shot you 2 times, but you died, right? Or you shoot first, you die first, you put way more shots into them, didn't matter. That I think also believes maybe some more uninformed or a little bit more ignorant players to assume, hey, wait a second, I shot that guy way more, he's cheating. Let me watch the kill cam. Oh, but wait, this is another thing that feeds into it. Kill cams are not accurate whatsoever. Devs from way back in the day, like MW2, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2 days, they even admitted back then, kill cams aren't even close to what's actually happening in game. It's more of like, hey, here's a feature we have. It's called the kill cam. It can show you kind of what happened, but they're not one-to-one whatsoever. And even more recently, they've said that as well. Kill cams are not accurate. The aim that you see in a kill cam is not always accurate. What a player can see in a kill cam that it's showing you is not always accurate. I've had this happen a bunch where, like, on my screen there's a smoke and I can't see anything out of it, but then I watch the kill cam and the person sometimes doesn't even have smoke in their kill cam, right? The speed of kill cams, they're actually sped up, so it'll make slight twitches here and there seem more snappier and maybe lead, again, some uninformed or perhaps some ignorant players to believe that that player was aimbotting, and then they get spam reported, then they get shadow banned, and it's a whole cycle of innocent players being banned, unjustly because COD's not so great systems, and then also those not so great systems feeding into the fact that a lot of people just think everyone's cheating, right? So there is a pile here that's just stacking higher and higher and higher of misinformation and issues with COD that feed into the already very, very bad cheating issue, which altogether is just a nightmare scenario. It is not good for anyone. It's not good for the devs. It's not good for the player base. It is a mess flat out. Another big issue as of late that's causing even more uncertainty is the large amount of hijacked accounts or hacked or stolen accounts that are turned into cheating accounts. A lot of players don't have, two-factor authentication or security measures implemented on their account. If you don't, I cannot encourage you to do something more than to turn those features on, please, or you're going to end up like some of the hundreds of comments and tweets and messages in my Discord that I've seen from players saying, Zach, my account got hacked, and then they said that I was cheating on it, but it was the hacker who stole my account. They cheated and now I'm banned. Can you do anything? And oftentimes the answer is no. Call of Duty very, very rarely reverses bans. There was a slight period where you could like file a complaint and say my account was hacked and they might reverse it, but even that wasn't a surefire method, right? But this results in a bunch of accounts. Players who might be level 300, they get their account hacked, someone cheats on it. It's like, oh, that's a level 300. That's kind of low. He might actually be a real cheater. There are players who are almost max level in like season 6, for instance. They get their account hacked and stolen. Someone cheats on it. Then you're like, hey, that was a pretty sus kill cam. That was kind of weird. He hit a lot of headshots. He kind of pre-aimed me through a wall, but he's a level 1,200, Why would he still be playing if he was cheating? You'd think after 1,200 levels, if someone is cheating, they'd be banned. But it could be a situation where they were 1,100 last week, and then someone hacked their account. They started cheating, and now they are almost max level, and they're you using a hacked account, basically, right? So there are so many issues going into this cheating situation that aren't even directly correlated to the lack of a good anti-cheat. You could also talk a lot about ranked play, which in both aspects, multiplayer ranked, been plagued all year long by a cheating issue, and then especially Warzone ranked now, the hype for it has definitely fallen off, which means the ranked player base is a lot smaller, and the top of the, leaderboards, a lot of top 250 could end up being cheaters. A lot of players are running into in Crimson and Iridescent and so on could end up being cheaters, right? So you don't have really an incentive to play because the more you go through and you rank up past gold, diamond, platinum, well, the better the odds you're just going to run into largely cheated lobbies where a bunch of players are doing it in one match. And maybe it's not just like one or two guys going through and absolutely just wrecking the lobby with their aimbot and their wall hacks or whatever, right? So that in and of itself, huge issue as well. Now, here's the biggest concern, I think. Where is the change? Where is the fix? Where is the hope for this getting better? They've already confirmed Black Ops 6 on day one is going to have some new Ricochet anti-cheat updates. At the end of the day, it's still the Ricochet anti-cheat. So unless they are drastically taking extreme measures that they have not done before, I can't say with confidence that I think that that's going to be a difference maker in the cheating issues. Unless they're changing over to a true kernel level anti-cheat, which a lot of players say they don't want because they don't want that privacy invasion that a kernel level anti-cheat would have on their computer. Well, this is what you get then. If you don't want that full access, it can see what's going on in your computer at all times, sort of level anti-cheat, like perhaps what Riot has with Valorant or something. I think it's called the Vanguard anti-cheat. If you don't want something like that, well, then you're going to have a lot more cheaters like this. So it's a weigh your pros and cons type thing. But for how long this has been going on, I think a lot of players, maybe at first who were like, yeah, we don't need a kernel level anti-cheat, are now like, oh, well, maybe we need a kernel level anti-cheat, right? So perhaps that's an eventual solution. Perhaps it's not going forward with Ricochet anti-cheat. Yes, I get they wanted to do everything in-house and have it be their own thing, but clearly it's not great because we are still having these conversations all this many years later after Ricochet was implemented into the game. So The big question mark for me if there's actually going to be significant changes here. I would certainly hope there would be, but we've seen the history now where there's a severe lack of transparency from Team Ricochet, which I think is a huge L as it is. Transparency, you guys know, especially for a channel like mine and for me personally, I'm all about getting you guys the correct information. No clickbait, nothing like that, just the facts here. And when you have an entire anti-cheat team that very rarely communicates, that just flat out sucks for communication. I get not wanting to expose your anti-cheat in ways that would make it easier for cheat developers to then counter you, but the lack of transparency in general with Ricochet is rough. So it's definitely not just one thing that's flawed with the cheating situation and the hacking situation going on in COD right now. It is a culmination of issue here, issue there, another issue here that just makes the entire situation kind of miserable for a lot of players and definitely does not have the greatest outlook as it stands. Of course, if anything does end up happening here where the situation does improve, we actually see a significant anti-cheat update, or they start communicating a little bit more about it, this is the place to be to stay up to date with that stuff. But until then, I will continue to harp on this issue and talk about this issue and shine more light on it because it's something that needs to change. If you enjoyed the video, you agree with the points I'm raising, you want to help shine more light on it, a like rating would be seriously appreciated. And as mentioned, if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in COD, including any potential future anti-cheat updates, feel free to hit that subscribe button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.